Hi, my name is Erin Ford, and this is my video for social issues in education, presentation and group discussion. My understanding of democracy and freedom is based on the concept of the right to choose. According to Holt, individuals should have the right to decide what is taught, how it's taught, when, and for how much time. They should have the right to decide what goes into their minds, and if children decide not to go to school, then that should be their choice. That's their right. However, parents should be allowed to exert a regular amount of influence, and naturally children do sometimes want to please their parents. I, however, don't see this decision as practical. This is a big choice, and that's one that children might not see in the long-term consequences of. Also, the assumption that everyone has a natural drive to succeed and work is a large assumption. If left to their own devices, what would they choose? I'm not sure, but do we want to leave it so open? I honestly believe that if I asked my son if he wants to go to school, he would not attend on a regular basis. At this stage, he is unable to see past the immediate gratification of doing what he wants and getting out of not doing what he doesn't want to do. This leads me to the quality of education. The quality of life is dependent on the quality of schooling. When students learn to engage with their education, this is a life skill. This is deeply motivating, and when education is active, students use their whole minds. At that point, they become educated human beings, not just vessels able to spit out facts. Also, if education meets one of its goals, upon completion of school, the individual will become a full-fledged citizen. Basic education aims to create good citizens, and a good citizen will enjoy the rights of freedom. A good citizen will expect to work and earn a living. With good quality education, a law-abiding, working citizen would experience success. Each different teaching style leads to its own assumptions about what learning is. For example, behaviorism would say that learning is not about inner motivation, as they previously talked about with freedom and democracy. Skinner believes that learning is shaped by environmental factors, be it positive or negative. It's all about factors and consequences that shape our decisions. Even the ones we think we make freely are shaped by past influences. According to Laura Zukis Scott, the humanist approach to teaching embraces the uniqueness of all the individuals involved. Students have an infinite and incalculable value. This approach leads to the definition of learning as a transforming process involving growth and self-discovery. I personally believe that the approach that best promotes student growth and development is the one that applies specifically to the child as an individual. Like Laura Zukis Scott states, teachers who adapt their instructions to the individual and use a flexible system of education are the best for overall growth and development. Teachers who display a capacity for connectedness are good teachers. They are connected to their students and thus can better meet their needs. They use a wide variety of methods to reach the students on several different levels. Instead of just teachers, they're often called weavers. With this type of teacher, the student walks away with an impression, a motivation, or an overall growth that they didn't experience prior to having that teacher. This happens when the teacher is connected, and when she or he sees the students as individuals and is able to relate to them. Educational philosophies over time have become more broad in their scope. Perennialism discusses enduring truths which are constant, such as art, philosophy, and religion. This is focused on the individual's growth within themselves and learning. They were focused on the tangible. More learning was done through lecture and discussion. It was learning for yourself within yourself. The later philosophies stress more about the world change. There is a greater amount of freedom and experience, and the education becomes more focused on the student and their world experiencing it and growing from these experiences. Public school previously was broken down into funding and location. However, due to new technology advances, the definition of public school is a lot more complicated. Vouchers, charter schools, and homeschooling have created the challenge. The definition of public school must rise to the challenge and adapt. If distance learning is a public school, is it offered to anyone, nonprofit? In these technological times, what is considered public school is different than previous decades. In the 21st century, learning goals will be presenting challenges all of their own. People must be able to create, evaluate, and use information, media, and technology effectively. These are skills going to be learned and applied in nearly every facet of future life. If someone does not have access to the latest technology, they will be left behind. It seems to me that the issues of should the curriculum be standardized for all reflects issues with the injustices. Mortimer Adler discusses equal educational opportunity. This means giving all students the same education, whether or not they are college-bound. This does not address the individual's inequality within themselves and the unequal environmental factors they experience. Also, should behaviorism shape educational practices? Addresses when goals are possible. Zuga-Scott states, quote, educational choices are feasible when goals and benchmarks are part of a flexible system in which variations and individual differences are expected and encouraged, end quote. I think she is accurate in her assumption that in order to be achievable, they must be flexible. Zuga-Scott also discusses the correlation between socioeconomic status and standardized tests. So in essence, students of a low socioeconomic status are penalized because of their backgrounds. Thank you.